Some of Stephen King's novels have found great success on the big screen, among them Andy Muschietti's It Duology, which doesn't need a sequel to keep expanding. Stephen King has allowed generations of readers to explore a variety of fears through his stories for decades, and many of them have been adapted to other media. One of King's most popular and successful novels is It, published in 1986, which introduced the world to a one-of-a-kind villain that takes the shape of its target's biggest fears. Its preferred shape is that of Pennywise the dancing clown, who has become one of the most popular and terrifying characters in King's universe. It got its first adaptation as a TV miniseries in 1990, and in 2017, it got its first big-screen adaptation. For the latter, the novel was split into 2 movies, and the time settings were changed to 1989 and 2016. Both It movies were a commercial success, and though there have been talks about a third movie, there's no need for it to keep expanding this world. There's no point for It Chapter 3 after Chapter 2's perfect ending. It Chapter 2 gave the losers a proper ending. Talks about a third It movie within the universe of Muschietti's movies began in 2019, not long after the release of It Chapter 2. Pennywise actor Bill Skarsgård spoke to EW in 2019 about the possibility of a third movie but emphasized that it would have to be a movie outside the book as Chapter 2 ends where the novel ends. Screenwriter Gary Dauberman told IO9 later that year that he believed a third movie could be possible as there was only so much they could tell in just 2 movies and the Stephen King universe is very extensive and rich. The most recent tease about the possibility of It Chapter 3 comes from grown-up Mike Hanlon actor Isaiah Mustafa, who told Screen Rant that he wouldn't turn down an offer to play Mike again in a third movie, but that he doesn't think there's anything to continue the story. Echoing Skarsgård's thoughts on a third It movie, Chapter 2 gave a proper and fulfilling ending to the surviving losers. Following Eddie's, James Ransoni, death by It in the sewers, the rest of the losers confronted the creature. Mike ripped out its heart and he and the rest of the losers crushed it, finally killing it. At the end of It Chapter 2, Ben and Bev got married, Richie did his best to cope with Eddie's death, Bill began to write his new story, and Mike moved out of Derry. With it now dead, nothing else tying the losers to Derry, and Mike himself leaving, when, in the book, he only considers leaving, It Chapter 3 would be pointless, and not even bringing Mike back could make a third story work. Pennywise appears in other Stephen King stories unrelated to it. Sorry, no more losers and Pennywise. Stephen King stories books Pennywise appearances. In the novel, it also meets its end thanks to the losers. While Ben destroys the eggs that it in its female spider shape laid, Bill fights his way inside its body and finds its heart, which he then destroys. Once they get out of its lair, a storm destroys Derry's downtown, and the losers' memories of it and everything they went through with their friends because of the creature begin to fade. However, Pennywise has appeared in other King novels, all of them unrelated to its original novel. In 1987's The Tommyknockers, the main character sees a clown with shiny silver dollars for eyes staring at him from the sewer drains, but this might have been a hallucination. In 1994's Insomnia, which is set in Derry, there are references to the events in the first part of it as well as to the Deadlights, which are part of King's Macroverse. In 2001's Dreamcatcher, there's a memorial to honor the victims and graffiti that reads Pennywise Lives. In 2018's Elevation, a local band in Castle Rock changed their name to Pennywise and the Clowns for the annual Halloween dance. As intriguing as these appearances and references are, they don't necessarily confirm that it continued to live after the novel, so there really isn't a continuation to its story after the losers crushed its heart and killed its offspring. There's no canon material for a third It movie, but that doesn't mean this world can't keep expanding. It will continue to expand with a prequel series. Welcome to Derry is a prequel to Muschietti's It movies. A third movie isn't the only way it can expand. The movies are already doing so with a prequel TV series titled Welcome to Derry, set in the 1960s to follow one of its previous killing sprees. The show has Skarsgård back as Pennywise the Clown and one direct connection to the losers with the presence of Will Hanlon, Mike's father. If the first season of Welcome to Derry succeeds, there are plans to expand it with 2 more that would go further back in time, better exploring Pennywise origins and other chapters in Derry's cursed history. Even though the novel ends where It Chapter 2 does and there are no official continuations to King's novel, the world of it has the potential to expand without the losers. Prequels are the best way to do so, but there can also be spin-offs either set in the past or parallel to the events of the movies.